some of this music and stuff going on. Let me know if you can hear me over the music or if I need to adjust something. I'll do what I can. But yeah, let me know where you guys are from if you're tuning in and watching this. So I'm here in Starbucks with Alicia. We got a babysitter for the day, so we're getting out of the house, doing like a separate work day where we don't have to worry about the kids at all. So yeah, let me know if you're here, if you're watching. I'll keep doing some work while we wait for some folks to get on. But yeah. Also, so if you're watching this, let me know that you're here. Like, let me know where you're from. Say hi, even if you have questions. Just like to see people. Yeah. So we've got YouTube over on one and Facebook on the other. And yeah, for those of you guys just joining, basically, yeah, I'll be here for a while. I mean, I've got to babysit for a couple hours, but yeah, just feel free to ask questions. I sort of set the next hour or so of time aside. So if there's a ton of questions, that's what I'm here for. So tell me what you guys are dealing with. Tell me what you're stuck on this week, or what your issues are, things like that. Or just say hi. Diva over on YouTube says hi. Hey, how's it going, Diva? Randy's here again. What's up, man? I actually before I was a teacher, so I'm a reseller obviously now. Prior to that, I was a teacher. Before I was a teacher, I was actually a photographer, and I ran a photography business. So it's cool that you do nature photography. All right, we've got Joseph Tamargo over on Facebook. Wash your hair, bro. You look like you just smoked. Interesting. All right. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Contrary to popular belief, I don't actually smoke crack. So I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. What's up, Joanna? I see you just joined. David Brown over on YouTube. What's up, man? David Brown, your name sounds super familiar. I'm not sure. Just say no. I'm trying to think why your name sounds so familiar. We probably talked before, David. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop in the comment section. Last time I did one of these Q&A sessions, one of my kids started screaming, so I had to jump off. But yeah, I'll do my best to stick around for a while if you need questions. So I'm over here. I'm working on actually our next YouTube video. So the next YouTube video I'm going to do is sort of like a brief overview of online arbitrage. And I'll just sort of lay out some general stuff in terms of how to do the different methods. And then I'll probably do a subsequent video specifically for like sort of diving down that rabbit hole with me. And like just basically watch me find a couple things and source a couple things. So that's what I've been working on. So that's what I was working on right before getting on this live call. And that's what I'll be doing after this live call. So yeah. All right, Albany. Hey, how's that going? Randy's got me on both. He's on Facebook and on YouTube. Albany, how do you get a business license? So it sort of depends on what you mean by that. So if you're just starting Amazon, if you haven't done anything, Amazon will treat you as a sole proprietor. Now, I would recommend you register as a sole proprietor in whatever state that you're in. So some people, what they mean by that is they mean like their business entity. So I would recommend go get yourself like registered with your state as either a sole proprietor or get an LLC, whatever it is you want. And then once you have that, then you can register with the IRS to get it's called an EIN number. An EIN is sort of like a social security number for a business. So you'll need to register with the IRS to get that. And then once you have your EIN number, then you can take that and go back to your state again. And that's how you can get like a reseller tax exempt certificate. Every state calls it something slightly different. So in Florida, it's like the Florida reseller certificate for sales tax or something along those lines. And other states call it slightly different, but that'll be done through your state. I can't tell you exactly how to do it because every state is slightly different, but every state will have a state website for that. You'll just need your EIN number for your business. So you take that and just do a Google search. Like if you're in Florida, Google Florida resale certificate or something along those lines. And you should be able to find it. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I know I'm in Starbucks, so there's music and stuff going on. Okay. David over on YouTube, just want to thank you for all your help. Appreciate your input. I went from 5K left to 26K. Dang, man. 5Xing it. That's great. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love seeing like all the new people who come in and start killing it. David's thinking about trying tactical arbitrage. Yeah, so the guy who made that, his name is Alex. We're actually going to be pulling him in probably in January to do a call in Hustle Buddies, and he'll talk about it and all that stuff and sort of lay out some best practices. So we haven't done it yet because it is a pretty expensive tool, and I don't want to recommend like expensive high-end tools to people who are sort of just starting, because I don't think tactical arbitrage is good for beginners or people with small budgets. It just doesn't make sense. But starting in January, I think we'll have enough people in the group that have sort of grown to that like 10, 20,000 a month mark, and then we'll bring him in. So yeah, that was a great question, or a great thought, David. Hey, Brooke, how's it going? Let's see, Monica, good morning. Thank you so much for your videos. They're so helpful. Well, I'm glad you're getting good benefits from it. Albany, Florida, Orlando. Hey, that's where I'm at. So yeah, it's like Sunshine Biz or something like that. It's like the Florida State website, Albany. So the Florida Certificate of Resale Tax Exempt or something along those lines. If I was in my office, I could tell you exactly. But yeah. Hey, Rashida, you are killing it out there. You guys are coming close. It's going to be tough for you to hit your was it 70K was your goal in a rolling 30? I think I was just reading that just before I went on here. Yeah, that's great. I think it's going to be tough to hit, especially like these next few days sort of leading into Christmas. We usually notice from now until Christmas, sales, they don't completely bottom out, but they definitely go down like from now until Christmas. Just because most people at this point have already done their Christmas shopping, or they're going to store because they're a little bit worried about shipping times and things like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys can hit it. I think you had a couple like small days, like 30 days ago, it was like a small day for you guys. So maybe if you could have like a good decent day today and tomorrow, then you can sort of like replace the smaller days and hit it. So that'd be really cool if you hit 70K. That's a big accomplishment, and you should definitely be proud about that. Let's see, Diva over on YouTube. Our goal for our second month was 1,000, and we did it in 7 days. Dang, killing it. That's awesome. Yeah, so if you guys are just joining me, I have YouTube on one screen that we're streaming this to, and Facebook on the other side of my screen that I'm streaming to. So I've got both. So if I'm repeating something that someone typed in, like, where did they type that? It's probably because they're on the other side. And if you guys haven't, like if you're only on one of those two platforms and you haven't sort of followed us on the other, feel free to jump over. Like if you're watching this on the Facebook group, go over to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/c/Hustle Buddies. We've got a ton of great videos over there, and I'll keep posting more. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to join the Facebook community, because I mean, there's some great conversations that go on there. So, yeah. Monica, will this be recorded? Yeah, everything is recorded automatically. Nicole's in the house. Hey, what's up, Nicole? Nicole, are you a little bit less busy? I know your job got a little bit hectic this past week. Oh, shoot. I need to plug my computer. All right. Gotta scoot closer to the outlet. All right, David over on Facebook. Do you have a standard list of items that you go over in your coaching call with restricted based on questions we have. It's a little bit of both, David. So usually what people will do when they sign up for a coaching call is they'll sort of wait until they have a good list of questions, and I think it works better that way because then I don't know what issues you're dealing with. So if I have a big list of things to talk about and you already know everything on my list, then it doesn't really work. So it works best when people come to the table with some ideas, with some questions, things they want to bounce off me, and I can sort of help them through that. I think that's sort of a better format. Now, I do have a list of things that I go over at the end. Like if, let's say it takes us 30 minutes to go over all your stuff, I can fill the other 30 minutes with ideas and concepts or suggestions or tips, things like that. So I do have a list, but it definitely works best with a little bit of both. So you come to the table with your questions, then I'll come to the table with some more like upper level ideas that maybe you haven't thought about. How many bras do you source per week on average? It depends. Like, I mean, there's plenty of weeks where we source 0, and then some weeks where we'll source 1,000. So, it's tough to answer that specific question. So, Cody's here. Man, all the mods are here. What's up, Cody? Cody's been doing a lot of merchant fulfilling this Q4, which is awesome. We don't really do a whole lot of that. I don't have a whole lot of time or space like with our kids, so it's tough for me to do that. But Cody's been killing it with the merchant fulfilled, and I know especially like these last few days leading up to Christmas, I'm sure his sales are still like sky high because that's what everyone's ordering. All right, over on YouTube. Randy said he found some candy which showed that he was allowed to sell, but later realized features a popular movie for which I do not know my restricted status. Will that be a problem? It depends. I'm going to assume that you found some frozen jelly beans or something else that's frozen related because it's Christmas candy and frozen just came out. So it depends. There's not a good answer for that. For now, if you're not restricted, then you're not restricted, but that could change in the future. It all depends on if that item gets categorized as a frozen branded item, or if it stays categorized as Hershey's or jelly beans or whatever it is that it has. So with candy specifically, usually things don't cross over into being restricted for whatever movie they're a part of. Usually, it does sometimes happen, and I'm just telling you, like, in regards to candy. If this was something else, I would say nearly always it'll eventually get restricted according to that like movie that it's connected to. But with candy, that's not quite as common. So, I mean, I would, if it was me personally, I would probably get a couple if it was profitable. I might not go super deep on it just in case, but I mean, if they're cheap enough, if it's getting like 100% ROI, grab 10 of them, grab 20, whatever. Kevin over on YouTube. Guess hitting higher numbers really depends on what you're investing. My last shipment cost me $8.25. Last shipment cost $8.25, and I should make $8.25 on top of that. That shipment just got delivered, and I'm getting a payment. Nice, man. I mean, yeah, it's an inventory-based business. So the more inventory, like the more you can spend on inventory, the more that you'll make in profit. Your profit can't really go up if you're spending less money because it doesn't. The math doesn't really work out for that. But yeah, I mean, 100%. You'll hit higher monthly numbers if you're investing more money or reinvesting the same amount of money over and over, which turns into bigger numbers. Save it to just send and find out. Don't want to be canceled right off the bat. So basically, Randy, the worst case scenario that'll happen with this candy that I'm just going to assume that it's frozen and I'll talk as such. So worst case scenario is you send in frozen candy and you're allowed to sell it now. And then in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that, then it gets restricted. Worst case scenario, those items will just go to stranded and it will say that you're not approved to sell that, and you'll have to either remove them and ship them back to yourself, or you can tell Amazon to dispose them. It won't be like a hit against your account or anything like that. The worst case scenario is they just sort of suppress that listing from your inventory, and then you'll have to deal with it from there. But you won't like get in trouble for sending in candy like that. Hopefully that helps. Kevin, yeah, I'm snowballing it. Awesome. Yep. I mean, that's what we attribute a big chunk of our success to, was like, we really did just start with $100, and we just kept snowballing it. Any profit that we made, we just kept snowballing it. So we're hitting big numbers now, but we've put in a lot of work in, and we spent a lot of time not paying ourselves anything and just redoing it over and over and over. Albany, do you give coaching in Orlando or only online? We've done both. So if people are local and they want coaching, we just charge them the same thing that we would as if it were an online coaching session. But it's a little more fun because you get to hang out with me in person. So yeah, and usually we'll go to like a coffee shop or something, or if someone wants to go to a store, I'll scan with them. But yeah, all of that, it's done through our website. If you go to hustlebuddies.com/coaching, you can sign up for that. CJ Steck, do you use a restocking software? I do not. So I don't have a whole lot of replenishable items or replens. I enjoy sort of that thrill of the hunt, like going to find clearance items, things like that. That's what I enjoy most. So that's where most of my time is spent, is just sort of out hunting for stuff. I have some replenishables, but for the most part, it's just like an Excel sheet. I can see how many I have in stock, and once I get low on stock, then I'll do it. There are restocking softwares out there. I'm not saying that they're bad, just for our personal business. It's not worth my money to invest in things like that because we just don't do a whole lot of it. Chris, we've had a lot of luck lately. We've had a lot of luck lately in the grocery category. How do you feel about this category in particular? We feel great about it. I'm actually, that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be our next webinar or the one after that I'm planning, is going to be a large sort of in-depth grocery category guide where we break down a lot of stuff in that. But yeah, Roberto, what's up, man? Roberto's had some calls with me, and I know he's out there killing it. Joanny, how far in advance do you start buying or sending seasonal-ish inventory? Just for example, how early start sending Valentine's or 4th of July? There's not like a time frame that I follow for that, with a couple exceptions. I mean, if something is even the very specific stuff, I don't know. Like, so I'll use, let's say, Halloween, for example, because it's not Halloween right now, but it passed. If I found Halloween candy at the store and it had, like, I checked the Keepa and I could see that it sells and it had all that stuff, would I buy it? Yeah, absolutely. If it was profitable. Yes, absolutely, I would buy it, because there's people that love certain holidays and just go nuts over it. So, like, I'll use this Halloween thing as an example. Let's say two people that are super goth want to get married in February. Well, they're going to want to put out, like, cool Halloween decorations and candy and things like that, and the only place to find that is going to be on Amazon. So if they want that, like, weird, I don't know, like Cyclops eye candy balls to put as, like, party favors on their tables, they're going to buy that from Amazon. And so if I'm sending that stuff in, I will sell. Of course, it sells more frequently just before Halloween, but seasonal stuff sells all year round. I know there are a couple exceptions, but there's not many exceptions to that rule. So yeah, or like 4th of July stuff. Maybe someone is like joining the military and their family's putting on a big party and they want to put like red, white, and blue stuff everywhere. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to Amazon. So they're going to buy these like sort of 4th of July things. But it's not necessarily for 4th of July. It's for something else that sort of attaches to it. So yeah. Eileen just joined. Hey, what's up, Eileen? You still doing makeup stuff? Kyle on Facebook asks, you buy and hold some items for extended periods? No, not intentionally. I think that buying and holding is a very unwise strategy for making money. So I'll give you some examples. Let's say you buy a pool float at Walmart for $10, and you're anticipating it won't sell for 12 months, or, well, that won't make sense, but it won't sell for 6 months, let's say, in the summertime. So you buy it for $10 now, and you think, maybe I can sell it for $50 6 months from now, or $100 6 months from now. Okay, great, cool, whatever. You buy it and you hold it, and 6 months from now you sell it for 100. Let's just say there's no fees involved, just for the sake of easy math. Let's say there's no fees involved. You buy it for 10, sell it for 110. Let's make the math even easier. Sell it for 110. So your ROI is 1,000%. Okay, this is 6 months later. Well, let's say you compare that to you buy a $10 item now, and you sell it in 2 weeks for 100% ROI. So you buy it for 10 and you sell it for 20. Okay, and you're getting 100%. Again, I'm just saying there's no fees for the sake of easy math. So you buy it for 10, sell it for 20 in 2 weeks. But now 3 weeks from now, you can spend that 20 and buy something else for 100% ROI. So now you make 40 2 weeks later, and then you make 80 2 weeks later, and then you make 160 2 weeks. And it's like very quickly, the compounding effect drastically outperforms the buying and holding. So I think you can do it somewhat to diversify your inventory. This is especially true with like booksellers. I think it can be useful to have a bit of both, like some items that are more like long tail items, which take a while to sell, and some fast movers. But in general, I do not think that it is wise to buy something with the intent of holding it for a later date. It just, the math is suboptimal for that when comparing it to fast sellers for less profit. Chris is in for that next webinar. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm writing out the script now for a wholesale one. And I do a lot of things at once. I'm also sort of dabbling into writing a script for a grocery one, but yeah. Jason, what's up, man? First time watching live. I joined the group late September, started selling in October. Thanks for all you do. Got our first payout this week. The snowball is starting to grow. Awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, welcome. Sheena joined. What's up? I'm going to pop over to YouTube. Again, if you guys have questions that you want me to answer, I'll be here. I set apart this time to answer some stuff. So yeah, if you guys are having issues with Amazon, or maybe you're not even selling on Amazon, you're like, oh, how do I get started, things like that, feel free to type whatever answers you want, and I will be here on Facebook and here on YouTube to kind of answer whatever it is that you're having issues with. Randy is asking again about that candy. Oh, never mind. I already got that. One worry out of the way. Sweet. Yep. Awesome, man. I think there's a little bit of a delay between my two screens. So yeah, it looks like that. It's all the questions that are showing on my screen. Let's see, I'll give it maybe like a minute or so just to make sure everything gets caught up. So if that is all the questions, then I'll hop off and I'll keep working on our next YouTube video. But yeah, just want to say hi. It's fun seeing sort of like some of my worlds colliding, because obviously, like, I've been selling on Amazon successfully for a while. It's fun to see like some of the people that are joining, like Eileen, if you're still watching this, how's it going? I hope you're doing great things with makeup and all that stuff. But it's fun to see like the little things, like back when I was a photographer, people that I'm friends with there, or like Chris Ryan just joined. What's up, man? If he's still watching, I went to high school with him, so it's fun to see like other parts of my world sort of colliding into my my Amazon selling world. It's fun. All right, and Jess, aloha, Jessie, sorry. Yeah, she is killing it. Those people that are like, oh, I go to the store, I can't find anything profitable. I've told so many people, Jessie, specifically about you. It's like, listen, if this girl in Hawaii with Hawaiian stores and Hawaiian prices and the Hawaiian shipping charges to ship it to the U.S. can find profitable items and still send them to the continental U.S. and make a killing, then you can do it. And like, you're a mom, you got young kids, so like all of the excuses that I see, it's like check. You have the same, you could use the same excuses, but you don't. You just make it happen. So that's awesome, Jesse. You are out there killing it, and that's really, it's really inspiring. And we've used your story a couple times to sort of share with people. So yeah, all right. Looks like we're getting towards the end of the questions, so I'll probably be hopping off here shortly. If you do have other questions, catch me in the next like minute or so, and I'll answer a few more. But yeah. All right. Juani asks, if a grocery item is listed under Whole Foods Market, can I assume that Amazon is not going to share the buy box with you? You can't really assume that for anything. You just never know if Amazon will share a buy box, and you don't don't have to have the buy box in order to make sales. Make it outside of that. What I would do, and I'll sort of get to the rest of your questions, what I would do is check a few things. So first, I don't think I can share my screen from this point, but what I would do is I would check Keepa, and there's sort of two methods that I would use to look at if the buy box is being shared. First, you can hover your mouse over the word buy box. You know how you can like look at the graph and change what's being shown on your Keepa graph? If you hover your mouse over the graph option for buy box, it will show like vertical lines in the graph. Those vertical lines indicate within Keepa times where the buy box was different from the previous time that they were reporting. Now, Keepa doesn't report every single minute of every single day, so that's not 100% reliable as far as how many, but if you see a vertical line, it does mean that the buy box ownership did change. So that's the first way. The second way is I would look at how many sellers there are. If you see the number of sellers going up and down, that would indicate, like, let's say there's 10 sellers a month ago and then 7 sellers 2 weeks ago. Well, that would indicate that 3 of those sellers sold out of the item. So if the number of sellers is going up and down, then that to me is a good indication that other people are also making sales. So hopefully that helps, John. And then to continue, for that same item, we'll keep a show the Whole Foods as FBA seller. You know, I'm not exactly sure if Whole Foods has like an FBA account. I know Amazon has multiple seller accounts, but I don't know if it's technically considered, like I don't know if they sell Whole Foods accounts. I guess what I would do is I would look at who the seller is. I know you said it's listed under Whole Foods Market. I don't know if that's the brand or if that's the seller. If it's the seller, then I would guess with, I would say 75% assurity that if the seller is Whole Foods Market, that would not be considered Amazon. And if the seller says Amazon, but the brand is Whole Foods, then it's being sold by Amazon. So hopefully I'm understanding you right, and hopefully that sort of made sense. So, Brittany, hey, how's it going? Jason asks, when selling certain clothing items that you've seen returns on, does it scare you from buying similar items in the future? No, because people return everything. So, like if something doesn't fit, something doesn't fit. There's not like oh, this pair of pants got returned, so I'm never going to buy that brand again. It doesn't really affect a whole lot of things. Like I sort of calculate. But in general, clothing will have about, in our experience, about a 13% return rate. But most of those clothing items can be relisted. It's sort of like someone at Kohl's. They try on a pair of pants and it doesn't fit, so they put it back on the shelf. You can still sell it as long as like it has a tag and it's not stained or anything. You can still sell it as new. That's perfectly fine and acceptable. Because that's what Kohl's does. That's what Walmart does. Like if someone tries something on and doesn't want it, they put it back. They still sell it as new. It doesn't become used just because someone tried it on. So. But yeah, you can sort of estimate about a 13% return rate, but that doesn't really scare me off from many items. There's a few things that the returns would prohibit me from selling. So, for example, Halloween clothing, like Halloween costumes, I would never buy. I don't recommend anyone buying them because the return rate, instead of being like 13%, it's way closer to like 80%. The vast majority of people who purchase Halloween costumes on Amazon return them like a week after Halloween. Or they'll wear it for whatever event. Maybe they're buying it in February and they wear it to an event and then they return it afterwards. Because the nature of costumes is you only need it for a couple hours and they're done with it. So unfortunately, tons of people return that kind of thing. You'll have the similar issues with things like TVs, just because of how Amazon sort of does, like what's an acceptable reason to return a TV or get a refund for a TV. So I wouldn't recommend doing TVs. I wouldn't recommend doing Halloween clothing. So, for my Whole Foods question, can I tag you in the post I made? Yeah, you can tag me in any post. The group is pretty large and there's a lot of posts going on all the time, so I can't always guarantee. Even if you tag me, sometimes I have so many notifications. Like every single time I open Facebook, I have at least 20 notifications, and Facebook doesn't always know what I want to see. So even if you tag me, I can't always guarantee that I will actually get a notification about it. There have been a number of times where Facebook just doesn't tell me about it. So yeah, feel free to try, and then if/when I have time, then I'll take a look at it. So. All right, let me double check on YouTube, see if there's any other questions. Oh, look at that, a couple more people on YouTube. SPC Blake on YouTube asks, I have an item that Amazon price cut about $20 from everyone else. Only 3 of them is possibly undercut Amazon to get rid of them quicker while still getting good ROI. I don't think that I can answer that. I think because I don't know what your margins are. Like, so you ask, can you undercut Amazon while still getting good ROI? I don't know. Can you? It sort of depends on what you paid and what Amazon is, what the fees are. Are you allowed to undercut Amazon? Yeah, 100%. And depending on the item, you might get the buy box from them. You might not. There's nothing wrong with trying it. I would say if you're going to lose money by doing that, I would hold off for a little bit. Like a month or two, see if Amazon sells out or something, or look at the Keep It chart history and see if Amazon is usually in stock, if Amazon usually sells it for $20 less than everyone else, or if this is sort of like a one-time thing. I'll use bras as an example because it's pretty common in the group. What Amazon will do is they will price match a lot of things, especially for clothing. So let's say Macy's or something is running a sale, so everything is $20, like all their bras are $20. Well, Amazon, doesn't matter what they usually sell it for, Amazon will price match that, and they'll put their bra at $20 for as long as Macy's is doing it. So that's often what I will see, like when Amazon comes onto a clothing listing, and they're like $20 cheaper than everybody else, usually it's because they're price matching something, and I would 100% just hold out for a couple weeks until that sort of thing is over. But I guess, it kind of depends on the item, and it depends on the margins. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but that's sort of some of my thoughts about that. Hope that helps. All right, over on Facebook, there's just a couple more questions. As long as you guys have questions, I will stay here, but we're getting towards the end of them, so once the questions stop coming in, then I'll probably jump off and keep working on YouTube. But yeah, also, if you guys haven't, if you're over on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe to this video. If you're over watching on Facebook, feel free to check out our YouTube. There's a lot of great videos and stuff over there. We try to keep things like short and concise, but also put content that actually matters. I don't really like. Sometimes I have to do kind of like clickbaity titles of how YouTube functions. If you have boring titles, you don't really get views. But I try to keep my videos like informative and purposeful, and I try not to post things just to get them out there. I'm trying to every video sort of has a purpose. If that makes sense. So. All right, Giovanni, thanks for always being so helpful. It's much appreciated. Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Michelle, does Christmas candy perform as well as Halloween candy? Yeah, Christmas candy will sell year round. I'll use like candy canes for example. If you want candy canes in June, like if someone's having or Christmas in July party, something like that, where are you going to get candy canes? You can't buy them in store really. You can't find them, so you're going to go to Amazon. So yeah, Christmas candy does well year round. Halloween candy does well year round. Easter candy, or like specific flavors. This is especially true of like large brands that have sort of limited edition flavors for things. So let's say Starbursts, for example. Starbursts have like a spring flavor that is only available at stores during spring. Right now, you can't really find it anywhere. So if you have that Starburst spring mix, right now you can probably sell it. I haven't looked it up, but you could probably sell it for $12 to $15 on Amazon for a 1-pack, and it costs you about $4 or $3 in the store. So take the fees out, and you still should be making a good profit on that. So candy does well all year. It doesn't really matter what the thing is. There's a few exceptions. So I'll say for example, like the Valentine's candy where you write the name to my Valentine from whoever. That kind of stuff doesn't really do well year round because that's very specifically only done at Valentine's. That type of candy isn't bought or used at other times throughout the year. So I guess that's sort of an exception, but for the most part, that stuff sells year round. Sherry asks, when sourcing your groceries, gated. So Sherry, grocery usually is not gated. What I am gonna guess that you're seeing, what is common in grocery that makes it look like a lot of stuff is gated, is oftentimes in the grocery category, if you scan something, it will show up in the pantry category. I don't know why Amazon even shows this as an option, because no one is allowed to sell an item in the pantry. It's prime pantry. It's only for Amazon. It's like Amazon's own little category that they control and only they utilize. And you can't sell anything under the pantry category. You're just not allowed to. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's probably what you're seeing as far as the single packs. Like what you're looking at is actually a single pack in the pantry category. If it's actually something, I mean, maybe you kind of post it to the group or something if you have a different example, but I don't remember seeing very many, if any, grocery items that a single pack is gated and a multi-pack is not gated, specifically for grocery. I haven't personally experienced that a whole lot, but feel free to post like an exact example to the group and we'll see if we can kind of break it down. Did you know you're sitting less than 25 feet away from your 40% ROI item? And go. Let's see, is it one of these? Possibly. Let's see, somebody scan that. Tell me if it's profitable. My price was a whopping $0, but I would probably get my wife a little bit angry. Alicia, you can't sell it. She saved up all her Starbucks points and got that. Yeah, I might check out that shelf, see if there's anything. I'm actually gated. I've sold a lot of Starbucks stuff in the past, but then maybe like 6 months ago, it all of a sudden became gated for us. So we weren't grandfathered in, unfortunately, or whatever. And I haven't really bothered looking for a wholesaler to get an invoice from. Best replenishables. There is a question that you will never get answered by anyone. Or I guess the type of replenishable. Okay, yeah, I can answer. Yes, groceries are good. Home goods are good. Randoms are good. There's not really a best. It's like what's the best $20 bill? There isn't really a best $20 bill. Like it's all the same. Yeah, as long as it's selling, as long as it's profitable, then it's good. There's not like a best, like what's the best way to go 40 miles an hour? What's the best way to get 100% ROI? It's all the same. The math equals the math. So yeah. All right. Let me check over on YouTube, see if there's anything else. Nope, that was it. All right. Well, I think, unless I get any last minute questions, I think that's going to be it for now, guys. So yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out and saying hi. Hopefully that helped answer a couple of your questions. I was able to stay on a little bit longer this time because I don't have kids. So yeah, we will see you guys later. We appreciate you guys as always. So yeah, hustle on.